Hey guys, so this one might be a little bit morbid, but nonetheless, it's reality, right? So I like to sort of sit sometimes in the dark and just think about things, think about the bigger picture, the grand scheme of the universe, and not just our worldly knowledge, but everything, right? So it got me thinking. There's only one thing you really truly need to know, understand, and accept in this life, and that is that you will be forgotten. That is that essentially your existence here is extremely insignificant. Now, like I said, it's a little bit morbid. However, us humans, we tend to believe that we're so uniquely special. But if you look at the math of the vastness of space and what's out there, then you would understand that it is more than probable, more than likely, it is more, it is pretty much a mathematical definite that there are multiple planets like ours with multiple life forms and thousands, hundreds of thousands, probably millions, just based off the math alone of what's out there. Now, the truth is that majority of us who exist right now in this block of time, this moment of time, will be forgotten within one generation. It will be like we never existed. If we don't leave some sort of form of a legacy, then there will be your children's children will most likely not even know your name. Do you know your great grandfather's name, your great grandmother's name? Possibly you do, but a generation past that, it's highly unlikely, right? Extremely unlikely. Do you know what type of life they lived, who they were, where they grew up? They're forgotten. They're forgotten into the sands of time. Your parents still remember them, but you probably never met them, and now that's it. Their life was significant to them in the time that they lived, is significant to the people around them in the time that they lived, but they have become forgotten. They are now insignificant to the grand scheme of the wider plan, I guess, if you could call it that. Nobody really knows. I don't think our minds can even actually fathom what is out there, what the plan is, even the scale. Think of this: a number like trillion. We all know it's a big number, and say it takes a trillion light years to cross the Milky Way galaxy. What is a trillion light years, though? Think of it like this, I guess. If you were to drive a car to the moon, right? That moon that you can see up there in the sky that looks extremely close to us. If you were to drive a car to the moon, it would take somewhere around 600 years to reach there. That's driving day and night. A light year, so light, if you were to shine a torch strong enough at the moon, it would take 6 seconds to hit the moon and 6 seconds to get back to you. Meaning, within 12 seconds, that's how fast light travels, which what would take 600 years in a vehicle, right? So when you say a trillion light years across the Milky Way, it's almost like our minds cannot acknowledge how big that is, how huge space is, the vastness, the timeless advance of space. Yet we sit here, all important, feeling our feelings, worrying about money, worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow, worrying about world issues. World issues are insignificant. Literally, this planet, humanity, is insignificant on the grand scheme of things. Of course, it's significant to us now. Of course, we have emotions which bring up things like empathy and compassion inside of us for our fellow humans. We also have anger and hatred and all these other things, these emotions. But understanding understanding how insignificant all these things are, our daily struggles, our short lifetimes, the way that we'll just be forgotten to the sands of time, and we will. Even if you do happen to make a legacy. Like, here's an example: Marcus Aurelius, right? The author of Meditations and a Roman emperor. This man created a legacy through his Stoic practices, which is still practiced today and will probably be practiced in another 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, maybe even 1,000 years. Give it 5,000 to 10,000 years, nobody is going to remember Marcus Aurelius's name. Maybe even shorter than that, maybe in 1,000 years. So no matter what, there will come a time when his time on this planet was also insignificant. And he will be forgotten, just like you, just like me, just like all of us. So why is this important to the way we live right now? Well, if you can actually grasp how insignificant our struggles are, how insignificant our family problems are, how insignificant the problems of humanity are, how insignificant this actual planet, this rock we live on is, how insignificant it all is, right? You can go two ways. You can go into a deep depression going, well, what's the point in it all? Or next time you feel the emotions of anger, the emotions of hatred, the emotions of disappointment, the emotions of one day it'll all be over, what's the point? You can really pull yourself up and say, what is the point? If everything is insignificant, isn't the point just existing? Isn't the point letting go of all of these things that plague us, plague our minds through chemical reactions causing imbalances inside of our body that we call emotions? Can't we just let go of these things and live in the moment? Because after all, we are the universe. We are not in the universe. We are not separate entities to the universe. We are the universe. And in a sense, we are something special, right? Because we are the universe becoming aware of itself. We are not part of, but are the universe actually understanding that we exist as the universe and observing ourselves in existence. That's pretty special. But it's not that special, because mathematically there's millions and billions and trillions of other planets and creatures out there that would have the same sort of cognitive experience that we do. Possibly higher, possibly lower, possibly the same, probably all three. And they are also the universe, understanding its own existence. These are the things that I sit around at night thinking. It's crazy. I know that. But is it not true? Ask yourself, is it not true? Is what I'm saying a bunch of baloney? Is it a bunch of hogwash? Is it a bunch of nonsense? We are so super special and so significant that all of our lives mean things, right? They do. Our lives do mean things. They mean things to us. They mean things to the people who know us. But the person next door who you've never spoke to, your life means nothing to. You're completely insignificant to him, just like we are to the universe in the grand scheme of things. And that's one side of the picture. And then there's the other side of the picture, life after death, all right? I believe it. I believe in it because I've seen things that shouldn't exist. My father has passed away and come back to life and saw things that he shouldn't have saw. Went places he shouldn't have went. Understood time in a different type of truth. And I believe him. So if we do die and then we become something else, some form of energy vibrating on a different frequency that's invisible to the frequency that we currently vibrate on, because we all know, guys, that everything on this planet, everything, this keyboard, me, this dressing gown, it all vibrates on a certain frequency to ensure that we're able to view it, to see it, for it to exist on our plane. Right? Everything that exists here has the same vibration. So are we forms of energy that leave our bodies and vibrate on a different frequency? Does time exist how time exists to us now? Or is it timeless? Are we able to view time as if it doesn't exist? Are we able to see our past and our present at the same time without being able to explain how it's all right there, right now? If we become energy, are we then light? Can we travel at the speed of light? The questions just go on and on and on. And that's the beauty. That's the beauty of being the universe who's aware of itself, of being us. We call it the human experience. But is it the human experience? Or is it just the universe experiencing itself? Is that what we are? Yeah, I believe we are that. Because we are the universe. We're made up of all the same stardust as everything else. Rocks that collided and banged together and created explosions and particles and quasar stars and things from all the way across the planet billions and billions of years ago came together to form other planets and life. And we're just part of that life. Is the universe actually alive?
Cappuccino or latte?
There's so much. I'm being asked about my coffee. There's so much. Oh my gosh. There's so much that we just can't explain. Hang on a sec, guys. Hey, I'm just making a video. There's so much that, I guess, so many questions in such short time. But is there really short time? Is time even a thing how we understand it? A lot of people say we're moving through time, and that's actually just not the truth. Time doesn't move, right? Time doesn't move, it exists, it is, right? The faster you move, the slower time can go. Time is not something that travels the way that most people understand it. We don't travel through it, we exist in it. So there's so much more to understand than... Sometimes I wish I could live forever, only because I feel like there's not enough time to understand all the questions that my mind asks. I am not academically intelligent. I didn't finish school. I am not mathematically intelligent. I don't even know my times tables. I wish sometimes if I could go back and do it again, I would have paid more attention and became a physicist. I really love physics. But I guess what I actually do is somewhat just philosophize on things. And one day I will resign from all this online business and everything that I do, and I'll go sit on a hill somewhere and just think for the rest of my life. That's my happy place. That's my happy place, guys. This is what my existence is all about. This is my happiness. Just thinking about things, thinking about the grand scheme, asking all of the hard questions that you'll never get answers to, but you consistently and continuously ask yourself and ask of others. Knowledge, seeking knowledge. Knowledge is infinite. Do we become attached to that infinite knowledge after we pass away? There's so much electricity in our bodies that we could blow up buildings. The human cell, now I don't know the exact math, but the human cell holds a lot of electricity. This is what gives us life force. And all of these cells joined together create such powerful electricity that if it was able to be harnessed and pointed into something, into a direction, it would blow it up. Is that what leaves our body after death? Is it? Is that our soul? Do we become light? There's a lot of talk about light, pure light. Are we able to travel at the speed of light? How do we experience time? It just goes on and on, guys. But I guess the whole point of this video is if you can understand that where you exist, then I guess you can understand why you exist. And we exist in such a vast expanse of matter. That's essentially what everything is around us and what's out there. Just matter colliding together to create new different types of particles and matter and life and death and all of that fun stuff. Universes, galaxies, stars, suns, all of it, right? If you can understand where you exist inside of all that, I guess when times get tough, you can sort of really pull back the veil a little bit and say to yourself, none of it matters anyway. Just live. Just experience this. Because you are the universe experiencing itself. Just be that. Don't let all of the daily struggles really get to you and bring you down. Don't let those emotions take over. If you can really grasp this type of thing, nothing really matters anymore, right? Nothing really matters anymore. It matters to you in the moment. Your emotions control you mainly. But you can sort of pull back that veil, like I said, in those times when you have those experiences, those unpleasant experiences in your business, in your life, in your personal life. And just say, I'm just going to be here in this moment of time because that's all that really exists right now. Everything else is just a perception that I make up. What I believe the future might be will probably, highly likely, never come to pass. What was in the past is just a memory, and a faulty one, because we don't remember things how they actually happened. And the way you remember it is different to the other person that was there in the room. The past doesn't really exist anymore. It's gone. The future only exists in your mind, in a projection of what you think might be. It's only now that exists. We are not traveling through time, we're sitting in it, we're existing in it. We are experiencing ourselves in it. Nothing else matters. Not really. The only reason we want to be successful and create wealth, human wealth, inside of our lives is so we can experience these moments of time without limitation. Because we are so limited, and even with money, we are still so limited as corporeal beings as what we are. But with money, with wealth, human wealth, the system that we created as human beings, that again is insignificant in the grand scheme of things, except for our current lives, right? So if we can build that wealth and create that wealth, we can experience our time on this earth without as many limitations. And I truly believe that is why most people want wealth in their life. There's always other reasons. You want to help the family, you want to help the ones you love. Love is just an emotion like any other emotion, right? It's not really real. None of it is, right? At the end of the day, when you get angry, when you get sad, when you get depressed, when something doesn't go your way, it's not really real. And if you can really grasp that emotion, that feeling at that point in time is not really real, and in the next point in time that will be gone and lost to the past, that doesn't exist anymore, only in your mind, and you remember it wrong to what actually happened, well then you understand that you can just get past that emotion and get on with it. Keep existing. Anyway guys, I'm going off on a tangent now. I really struggle because of my dyslexia to get my thoughts out through my mouth. It's so damn hard for me, and I hate that. I've always hated that because I have so many thoughts all the time. I'm definitely a thinker. I would have loved to have been in ancient Greece and just ran around. Look, I'm always in a robe, right? Ran around in those white robes, just hypothesizing on everything. The natural order of things, the natural world, physics, essentially. But it's so difficult for me. It's so difficult for me to get those ideas out of my head and speak them. And dyslexia isn't just about reading and writing. I can write ideas on paper so beautifully, but I can't spell them. I can't spell. My punctuation is crap. And it's ironic that I built a successful business through books, because books to me aren't about the punctuation, they're about the content, right? They're about the knowledge, passing it on through the sands of time. These things will be around for much longer than our memories. Books, man, you can't go past it. If we got hit by a massive solar flare tomorrow, and the whole internet and everything went down, this video would disappear. All the videos I've ever made would disappear forever. Books would keep existing. We cannot allow for books to be all digitized and stay that way. We cannot do that. Digitization is too unstable, and it always will be. Anyway, guys, just thought I would film 20 minutes of myself rambling and throw it onto Facebook and get your opinion on it, guys. I want to know what you think about these thoughts that I had. None of these things are in stone or 100% beliefs of mine. That's the beauty of trying to understand existence and look at it from a scientific perspective and not a biblical one, that my mind can be changed. Nothing is set in stone. Everything is consistently being revealed to us on a daily basis. Anyway, guys, you all have a good night. I'm gonna let you go on that note. Drop the comments below.